I'm going to try to rig this penguin character. First thing I notice is that the right camera view is at an angle, so I'm going to go view, select camera, and then I can go view default view, and that'll straighten that out. And then I notice that the character isn't centered, so I'm going to select something on there, press the up arrow to get the group, and center the pivot, modify center pivot, click on the z-axis, hold down X to do grid snap, and snap it to the center line. I can see that some of these things are misaligned compared to each other. If I look in wireframe, you can see that a little easier. So before I try to move anything, I'm going to delete history off of everything, edit, delete by type, history, and take a look at these, try to get them a little more centered. I can hold down X, and it should just grid snap in the X direction. And same for this body. And then I'll need to recenter these a little bit. Maybe I'll work on those a little bit first. So I've noticed that these are made with a planar trim surface, and I'm a little concerned that when these bend, that will tear open, because if you look at the topology of these, the number of points on the top is so different from the side, so it'd be better if that was one continuous polygon surface. So I'm just going to delete these bottom two, and then select this top surface, convert it to a polygon, modify, convert, NURBS to polygons options, and I'm going to use quads in general, tessellate, and you can see the surface that it's made. I'll hit extrude, and let's look at the front view, or maybe the right view, and pull that down. So it's about the same thickness as you had before, and that's a little better. It's one continuous surface now, but still might not bend well. For example, here there's no points between there and there, and it's not a particularly well built surface. We could go show, isolate, view selected, and I could try adding some splits in there. My favorite way to do that is to use the modeling toolkit, which is right here. And if I scroll down, I'll use the multi-cut tool. And then if I hold down Control, it should give me a loop around here, but it's not. So instead I'll hold down Shift and just snap to the middle of each of these, and just add a split all the way around. Holding down Shift, it'll give me that 50% if I go to the middle. And then hit enter to complete, and then I have a split around there, and I might do that for this as well. Whoops, delete to get rid of that one. There we go. Oops. Finish that, and then I'll split this last one. Okay, that's looking a little bit more even. There's a lot more that could be cleaned up on this, but let's call it good enough. You could always smooth it too, although it's going to get kind of dense. So edit, delete by type, history, show, isolate, select, uncheck that. Get rid of this other foot, duplicate this one. The front view, or I guess the right view, and this like so, and this should be, just trying to even this out a little bit. Oh, looks like I left a planar trim surface there. Okay. Alright. this up a little bit better. Okay. If this body's going to bend in the middle, there's not a lot of detail on this. If I go into the attribute editor, I can see it has 4 by 8 spans. I can rebuild that from the surfaces menu, edit NURBS, rebuild surfaces, and maybe triple that would be more than enough. So we have a much denser surface so we can get a better shape when that bends. I guess these arms will stay split like that. I guess they're not going to bend in the middle. And I think we'll just work with everything else as it is. I'll save a version of this. And now I need to build a skeleton. I'll do that in the right view. Now as good a time as any to delete history again. And I'll use the animation menu set, click on skeleton, and hold down X for grid snap, and here's the thigh. Let's go to front view, let's give it a little bit of a knee bend, even though there's not much of a knee. And I'll put this at the bottom of the foot, and hold down shift to do a straight line, and hold down shift again. Okay, enter to complete that. And then I'll want to build a spine. So if I click on the joint tool and click on, should let me click on this first joint to continue it from there. There we go. And looks like this first joint got a little messed up. So before I continue, I'm gonna select this thigh, hit Shift P to unparent it and delete that. And then it auto-oriented the joint when I made the next one, which in this case I don't really want. So hold on X for grid snap, and then reparent it, select the thigh, shift select this one. P. Okay. And let's continue on from there. Joint tool, I'll click on this joint to start, and look at this view, build my spine, 1, 2, 3, and then branch out to the arm here, hold down shift, shoulder, elbow, wrist joint, and then up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, go back into this, looking at from the side, hold on shift, neck, head, and just put an extra joint at the top, enter to complete, and I am imagining the wings will bend down that way, kind of better shape. So now I need to mirror some joints. I'll select this one from the animation menu set, skeleton, mirror joint. We want to do that across the YZ plane, the Y and Z. Actually, no, that would be the XY plane. X and Y, so mirror across that. That's good, let's do that here. It would be better to name them first, but okay. And that should work. So let's select the skeleton, and to shift select all the joints, I'm just going to turn off joints up here in the pick mask. Shift select everything else. I'll turn it back on now. Skin, bind skin, smooth bind. And then just go around and test it a little bit, see if things are moving okay, not so much. It had too much of a general control, so let's see if we can fix that with the settings here. Might be able to. So I'm going to increase the drop-off rate some, and maybe lower the max influences. So that's how quickly the effect decreases as it gets further from the joints. That's the drop-off rate. And this is the number of joints that can affect any one given point on the object. There we go. Not much better. Okay. So I want to avoid you having to do any weight painting, because it just seems like too much. So maybe we'll bind some of this and parent the rest. So let's try binding just these lower halves and see what kind of results we're getting. Skin, bind skin, smooth bind. Okay, that's working pretty well. And getting a little bit of trouble here with that. So I'm going to undo back, and you can do things one at a time to make sure that other surfaces aren't affected by it. So if I'm going to do that, in this case I'll select these foot joints. So this joint and this joint and on the foot. And I'll do that on this side as well. And I'll bind those first. Then I'll select the thighs and the body and bind all that separately. And that way the foot should not affect, actually that's not going to work. So yeah, scratch that. So to do everything separately, I'll select the foot joints and the feet first. Make sure I get both of these joints. Check that in the outliner. Reveal selected. So you have two joints selected there. So then in my bind skin options, instead of saying joint hierarchy, I'm just going to say selected joints. And so now it's only going to the feet joints are only going to move the feet. And let's do something similar here, where I select these things and only choose the joints that I want to affect it. So I'll hide my nerve surfaces for a moment, and I'll select this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and this one, this one. Maybe not that one, so the ankle doesn't affect that leg shape. And let's show our nerve surfaces again. And again, bind skin, and we have that only selected joints showing. So now let's see if those are moving better. Okay, yeah, so that's not affecting that, which I think was good because it was pulling on it too much. And then the rest of the stuff I should just be able to parent. So select the surface, shift select the joint, P, surface, joint, P, surface, joint, P, surface, oops, joint, P, and then all of these surfaces here would probably go with, deselect that one. This neck joint, I think, and maybe I'll put everything else on that one. P, okay. So now let's just try to select the root joint, see if everything's moving around. Looks like I messed something up here. somehow I unparented that accidentally. So I'll select this one and shift select that one, P for parent, and that parent's the joint, and then I'll select this child, and that joint is the parent, and then P, parent that back in. Alright. So let's make sure everything's moving together. Okay, see if we can bend. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so now I can make some IK joints to make it a little easier to move them. First, I'm assuming that these, I don't know if they're supposed to bend like that or like this. I feel like they'd be more like arms if you bent them forward. So I'm just going to bend that forward and say set preferred angle, and do that to this one too. And then when I put in an IK joint, it will know which way to bend it. I mean an IK handle, I said IK joint. So now IK handle, so click on this joint and then click on that joint, and that seems to be bending okay. Maybe moving the body a little more than I want, but IK handle, shoulder, wrist. Okay. And let's do one for the legs. So IK handle, it's kind of weird, but these are tiny legs, so they'll be hard to work with, however you rig them. Now, probably going to want to figure out a way to get those feet to stay flat while you're walking, because that might be hard otherwise. So for that, what I'll do is create a circle, nerve primitive circle, and put it at the position of the heel joint, just to hide these surfaces. And while I'm at it, I'll duplicate this and hold down V for point snap and snap one to the other foot too. Okay. And then what I would do then is select the circle and shift select the IK handle and do a parent constraint. Constrain parent. And so now when you move this curve, it'll move the foot around. And then also select this curve and this ankle joint and do a constrain orient. Oops. Maintain offset. No options there. Okay. See how that's working. So now I select this curve, and now the foot stays level. If I want the foot to rotate, I can rotate it, but when I'm just getting my basic footsteps in there, it'll stay level, which will make it a little easier to use. We'll repeat that on this foot. Show. Okay, so I'll select the curves, select the handle, constrain parent, select the curve, shift select that ankle joint, constrain orient, and make sure we've got maintain offset turned on. Okay, so those will move now with the body, and if I want, I can make some control curves, and so you'll actually animate these curves, not any of the joints there. And then I might want to do that for the wrist IK handle, just to have an easy handle. So create nerve primitive circle and hold down V for point snap. Rotate this like so. And duplicate that to the other side. So I'll select the handle, shift select the IK handle, constrain parent, and do that on this side. Okay. So now I can just select these circles to control the arms. And then you could kind of keep going with creating these circles. The one you definitely are going to want to make is down here. It's nice to have one that moves the whole character with the arms and legs. So for that you'll you'll want to finish making all your curves that you're going to use. So for example, if I'm going to have one at the waist, I'll just duplicate this, move V for point snap, put it at the waist. And then parent constrain that joint to it, so select the curve, select this joint, constrain, parent, and so now you use this joint, you know, to move the body there. And, you know, continue on like with the head. Constrain parent. Okay. Anyways, and so you can make these for every joint. You just make the curve, place it using point snap, and then do a parent constraint where you select the curve first and then the joint second. So then when you've got all the control curves you want, I guess I'll make one more for the. Just duplicated that. Move it to the position of one of these joints so I can bend my body there. Okay. So select curve, select the joint, constrain parent, and then repeat here. So now I have a set of control curves, and I'll want them. This is kind of the master one that moves the whole body. So I'll just parent all of these to that. So I select this first. Oh, I'm sorry. I select this last. So I'll select all of these curves. And then select this, and then P for parent. Okay, so now I can move this whole thing, and that moves the whole character. And then when I want to move the individual. And so at this point, if you want, what can help is if I go to the show menu and hide my joints and hide my IK handles, I don't actually need them anymore, because now I can just control everything with these curves. Yeah, it's just a tricky, you can't take big steps with this thing. Another curve I didn't think to make was, if I show my joints, is one to control this front thing right here. And if you wanted to be really clever, you could just select this curve and add an attribute, modify, add attribute. I'll just call this toe. And now I have a toe in this list, and then I have to connect it to that toe. So to do that, there's a couple different ways. I'll probably just use the connection editor, window, general editors, connection editor, and in the left side I will choose the thing I just invented called toe, and in the right side I just want the Z rotate of this, so I'll load that in the right, and under rotate, that rotates Z, so I select toe and rotate Z. Now this is controlled by that, so I can animate that just by clicking on there and middle mouse dragging in the perspective view. And let me just repeat that. I'll select this curve, window, general editors, connection editor, and I need to add that attribute, modify, add attribute toe, and I'll reload that. Select toe on this side, select the toe joint, reload right, rotate Z. Okay, so now this curve has a toe control, middle mouse drag in there. Okay, great. Good time to save. So this is a, this is a very simple rig, but it should be pretty functional. And you can move it around sort of like a chess piece like this. If you want to move around the, oh, did I pick the wrong? I think I picked the wrong joint there for the, isn't that the root? I think because those other ones are parent constrained, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So I think I kind of messed that up. Because I want these joints to move with that one. So I'm going to take these joints that I made a mistake on. I'll just shift select these and edit delete by type constraints. And instead of doing a parent constraint, I'm just going to do an orient constraint. So select this and then shift select the joint, constrain, orient, and do that for each of these. Alright, so see if that's moving now. It should. Okay, yeah, so now the whole character moves with this one as best he can. And so you can animate this to move the whole character and then animate the arms separately. And then, yeah, if you want to move the whole thing around, you can move that one. And this one will rotate the head. Just undoing those moves. Okay, save this again. Okay, so that's a very simple rig for a character.